5 reasons why you don't like to be around people. Have you ever caught yourself scanning for exits at a bustling party, your heart quietly pleading for escape? Picture yourself there, conversations weaving through the air like a tapestry of sound, laughter bouncing off walls, and somewhere in that vibrant chaos you're standing still, feeling like a shadow that doesn't quite fit the light. The weight of social expectation presses against your shoulders, while your mind whispers of the peaceful solitude waiting at home. We're told that humans are social creatures, that we should naturally gravitate toward the warmth of others like moths to flame. Society paints pictures of happiness with broad strokes of friendship and connection, yet here you are feeling more drained than enriched by each social encounter. From childhood, we're conditioned to believe that popularity equals success, that being surrounded by people equals fulfillment. But what if that equation doesn't add up for everyone? What if your natural state of being operates on a different frequency altogether? It's time to unravel this paradox, to understand why some of us find ourselves yearning for solitude in a world that celebrates constant connection. The truth isn't simple. It never is when it comes to human nature. Your relationship with social interaction is as unique as your fingerprint, shaped by a complex interplay of personality, experience, and inner truth. Like a delicate ecosystem, your social needs and boundaries require careful attention and respect. Let's explore the 5 fundamental reasons why social situations might feel more like a burden than a blessing, each one a piece of the puzzle that makes up your unique social perspective. First, consider the introvert's perspective. Think of your social energy as a precious resource, finite and carefully guarded. While others seem to draw power from the crowd like solar panels in sunlight, you operate differently. Your inner world is rich and deep, a vast ocean compared to the puddles of small talk that often pass for conversation. When you engage socially, you're not just participating. You're investing pieces of yourself, and the return on that investment rarely justifies the cost. In the sanctuary of solitude, your mind unfolds like a flower at dawn, thoughts blooming in the quiet. It's here, in moments of peaceful isolation, that your creativity flourishes and your ideas take flight. The constant chatter of social settings can feel like static interference, disrupting the clear signal of your inner voice. It's not antisocial to prefer depth over breadth, to seek meaningful exchanges over social butterfly flattery. The world may spin to an extrovert's rhythm, but your internal compass points toward reflection and genuine connection. Consider how an introvert processes social information, like a gourmet chef savoring each ingredient rather than rushing through a fast food meal. You need time to digest conversations, to truly understand the layers of meaning in each interaction. This thoughtful approach to social engagement isn't a flaw in your design. It's a feature, allowing you to experience life's subtle frequencies while others chase its loud drums. The second layer runs deeper: trust issues. Imagine trust as a delicate bridge between hearts, one that's been damaged by past storms. When previous connections have crumbled beneath your feet, leaving you to navigate the chasm of betrayal alone, caution becomes more than prudence. It becomes armor. Your hesitation to engage isn't paranoia. It's your emotional immune system at work, protecting against potential harm. Those who haven't experienced deep betrayal might dismiss your caution as excessive, but they haven't felt the earthquake of broken trust shake their foundation. Every breach of trust leaves an invisible scar, a lesson written in the language of hurt and healing. Your heightened awareness of subtle cues, a misaligned smile, a tone that strikes the wrong chord, a promise that sounds too good to be true, isn't oversensitivity. It's wisdom earned through experience, a sophisticated radar system designed to detect potential hurt before it arrives. The process of rebuilding trust after betrayal isn't linear. It's more like tending to a garden after a storm. Some plants need to be completely replanted, while others require patient nurturing to return to health. Each positive interaction becomes a small seed of hope, but the soil of trust needs time and consistent care to become fertile again. Third, consider the company you keep, or rather the company you choose to avoid. It's not misanthropy that drives you away. It's discernment. Some people are like emotional vacuum cleaners, sucking the vitality from every room they enter. They might be the perpetual complainers, the conversation monopolizers, or those who wrap criticism in the thin veneer of concern. After enough encounters with these energy vampires, retreat becomes not just appealing, but necessary for survival. These challenging personalities come in many forms. The chronic interrupter who treats dialogue like a competition, the drama magnets who transform every minor incident into a crisis, or the emotional manipulators who leave you questioning your own perceptions. Each interaction with such individuals feels like navigating a maze where the walls keep shifting, leaving you exhausted and disoriented. Your aversion to certain social situations might simply be your inner compass, steering you away from environments that don't align with your authentic self. Why force yourself to endure the cacophony of a crowded bar when your soul craves the melody of intimate conversation? Your selectiveness isn't snobbery. It's self-respect, a recognition that not all social connections are created equal. The fourth reason delves into more personal territory: self-esteem. Sometimes the loudest critic isn't in the room, it's in your head. Every social interaction becomes a performance where you're simultaneously the actor and the harshest reviewer. You replay conversations like game tapes, analyzing every word choice, every reaction, every moment of perceived awkwardness. The weight of this self-imposed scrutiny can make even casual interactions feel like walking through quicksand. This internal critic has a long memory, collecting every perceived social misstep like a curator of embarrassment. A slight stumble over words during a presentation 5 years ago, an awkward silence during a first date, a joke that fell flat at a family gathering. These moments become exhibits in a mental museum of social inadequacy. The critic whispers that each new interaction carries the potential for similar moments of discomfort, making even simple exchanges feel fraught with risk. Yet this internal critic isn't your true voice. It's an echo of past wounds, insecurities, and unrealistic expectations. Understanding this doesn't immediately silence the critic, but it helps you recognize its voice for what it is: a storyteller spinning tales of inadequacy that don't reflect your true worth. The path to healthier self-esteem isn't about silencing the critic entirely, but rather about learning to listen to other voices within. The voice of self-compassion, of realistic assessment, of genuine self-appreciation. Finally, we arrive at social anxiety, the invisible hand that can turn simple gatherings into psychological obstacle courses. Unlike general discomfort, social anxiety transforms everyday interactions into potential minefields of embarrassment or judgment. Your body becomes a betrayer, with racing heart and sweating palms, signaling danger where there is none. The mind races ahead, constructing elaborate scenarios of social missteps before you've even entered the room. The physical manifestations of social anxiety are like wearing a suit of lead to a swimming pool. Every movement becomes labored, every interaction weighted with extra effort. Your breath shortens, your thoughts scatter like startled birds, and the simple act of maintaining eye contact feels like staring into the sun. This isn't mere shyness. It's your nervous system's alarm system stuck in hyperdrive, sending out constant alerts of perceived social threats. Every casual glance feels weighted with judgment. Every lull in conversation stretches like an eternity. The desire for connection exists, but it's buried under layers of fear and anticipation. The cruel irony is that the more you avoid social situations, the more formidable they become, creating a cycle that reinforces itself with each retreat. Your world may gradually shrink as you avoid more and more situations that trigger this anxiety, each avoidance feeling like both a relief and a defeat. Understanding these reasons isn't about justifying isolation or accepting social discomfort as a mutable fate. It's about acknowledging your experience without judgment, recognizing that your reactions have roots in real experiences and valid needs. Your preference for solitude or selective socialization isn't a character flaw. It's a reflection of your unique way of moving through the world, your particular lens for processing social experiences. The path forward isn't about forcing yourself into uncomfortable social situations or dismissing your instincts. It's about finding your own rhythm of connection and solitude, recognizing that meaningful relationships can exist without conforming to society's extroverted ideal. Some of history's most impactful individuals were those who understood the power of selective solitude, who recognized that time alone wasn't time wasted, but rather an investment in inner growth and authentic self-expression. Think of your social energy like a precious natural resource. something to be managed wisely rather than spent frivolously. Just as a skilled investor carefully chooses where to place their capital, you have the right to be selective about where you invest your social energy. This isn't about building walls, but rather about creating healthy boundaries that protect your well-being while leaving space for genuine connection. Remember your need for space, your careful approach to trust, your selectiveness about social environments, your self-reflection, and your anxiety. These aren't obstacles to overcome, but aspects of your character to understand and work with, not against. In a world that often mistakes quantity of connections for quality of life, your thoughtful approach to social interaction might just be a sign of emotional intelligence rather than social deficiency. As you navigate your relationship with social interaction, consider that perhaps the goal isn't to become more outgoing, but to become more authentically yourself. Whether that self thrives in quiet corners or selective gatherings, what matters is that you honor your truth, while remaining open to genuine connection when it aligns with your values and energy. This journey isn't about fixing what isn't broken. It's about understanding and embracing your unique social needs. Your social preferences aren't a problem to be solved. They're a part of your personal narrative to be understood and respected. In embracing this truth, you might find that the real question isn't why you don't like being around people, but rather how you can create a social life that genuinely serves your well-being and allows your authentic self to flourish. The answer lies not in conforming to external expectations, but in crafting a social approach that honors both your need for meaningful connection and your right to personal space. This understanding of yourself, your needs, and your boundaries becomes the foundation for a more authentic way of being in the world. It's about finding the delicate balance between solitude and connection, between self-protection and openness, between social obligation and personal truth. In this balance lies the potential for genuine relationships that energize rather than drain, connections that enhance rather than diminish your sense of self.